everyone. Hello. Hi. I know it's not on your power, but I'm coming on because I wanted to talk about purpose really quickly. And I wanted to talk about it because what you'll notice, and what many of you who have been here for a while notice, is that every now and then I actually do our pivot into your purpose workshop. And a lot of times, the reason why I'm doing it is because what I've been able to find out, or what was the revelation for me. Hi, say hashtag live for those of you who are joining live, hashtag replay for those of you who are going to be coming on the replay. But I wanted to talk about, why is purpose a big deal? Why does Omalar always talk about this pivot into your purpose workshop? Blah, blah, blah. We've heard it multiple times. Why can't she just calm down? And pop in the chat if you're watching. Just say hi. I love to like check in with you guys. But I wanted to explain, why am I such a purpose, like, oh my gosh, do you not know your purpose? Like, why is this really important? And the reason why it's important is that what I found through, I really found out when I went through my episode of burnout and then my hospitalization, was as I streamlined and did not have anything to do, right? Because I was on medical leave, I realized that I didn't know what my purpose was. I had either maybe discovered it a while ago and had evolved and didn't realize that I wasn't connected to anything larger than myself, like in terms of a clear cut purpose for my life. And I think that this is so important because it's so easy to just do your career, do your profession, and a lot of times we're confusing our profession with our purpose. And that is not good because what you'll find is that there's a whole bunch of unfulfillment that happens as you're sitting in that space where you're like, well, my job is a good job. It's impacting people, but is it your actual purpose? Is it the thing that you're supposed to be doing? And for some of you, it is. And basically, your lives have been like cluttered with everything, and we haven't said no, we haven't created boundaries, and that's going to be really important. But for many of you, there may be some evolution that happened and we haven't slowed down or had the time to actually reflect. And so the Pivot into Your Purpose workshop is a 5-day workshop that we focus on 8 p.m., February 15th to the 19th. What are the 5 different steps? And on Friday, I'll talk through what those 5 different steps are. But today I wanted to actually talk about why you should go register for the Pivot into Your Purpose workshop. And the reason is because, number one, so I think it's 5 things. I have my notes here, and I always have notes. So I have 7 things. Okay. So number one, really quickly, a life without purpose often has no meaning, right? And so it means, usually a loss of purpose or a lack of purpose means that you don't have a final destination. It's like driving, right? Every day we're working, we're doing all the things, but where are we going? What is the reason why we're driving? And if we don't have anywhere to go, we'll find that we are just moving. We find that we are dealing with things that don't even connect us to anything. And we find that our goals are haphazard. There's no theme. And once we actually have the idea of where it is that we're going, we find it's easier for us to make boundaries, easier for us to make space, easier for us to streamline and cut things out, because we're not like, is that an opportunity? Is that an opportunity? No, we actually know what it is that we want to achieve. And so for those of you who don't know, kind of like, if I asked you right now, what's my purpose? What is the thing that I'm here to do? If you don't know, that is a reason why you actually should definitely register for the workshop. Just because I've completely forgot to do it in the title, I'm going to put it here as well. The second thing that I want to share in terms of what about purpose and why is this so important to get this nipped in the bud, you end up being really anxious, okay? And a lot of times when you are not connected to your purpose, you anxiety is usually triggered by a life that is in danger, a life that thinks like, what's going to happen? What's the fear? And when you have a purpose, even if it hasn't manifested yet, you have this like idea. You're not worried. You're not scared because you know that you're making connections and you're doing things that are getting you purposefully towards that goal. And so anything that doesn't happen, there's FOMO, everything, all of that stuff, when you don't have a purpose because you're like, is this the place I'm supposed to be? And so as we know, anxiety is not good for our bodies. Also, we know that anxiety is common, and actually Black women are one of the subgroups that have the highest rates of anxiety. And so that fear, that anxiety usually stems from a lot of times in part to not being really clear on what your purpose is, and a fear of that you're not going to make the right decision or the next step. And that is possibly the case if you don't actually know what you're aiming towards. The other thing that I think is interesting about purpose is that it allows for you to be more motivated in the things that you do, right? So many of us, without that purpose, we're not scaling, right? Our achievements, we don't know what it's leading to. We aren't really aware of what the expected results are, what we're trying to create. And a lot of times when we don't have that, we don't stay motivated and we don't persevere. We don't finish things. And so that's extremely important for us to start to consider and think about as well. The fourth thing is it keeps you from growing. And so what do I mean by this? What I mean is that a lot of times when we're thinking about not having our purpose, it doesn't allow for us to work in one direction and keep moving and keep, taking those steps to grow bigger and bigger into that specific space, right? And so even for me, thinking about, my purpose really around empowering Black women, right now we're empowering Black women health professionals. I don't know if that will expand. It probably will because I'm me, but it'll expand to Black women outside of healthcare, but it allows for me to say, my singular purpose is really around empowering and lifting up Black women and helping them to stop settling. And so then that allows me to say, is this thing that is an opportunity going to be towards that? And allows for me to grow and say, okay, I've done this, but now a lot of times the problems that we face, burnout, is really due to stagnancy. We don't feel motivated. We don't feel like we're growing. And I definitely say if you're not growing, you're dying. And that does not give us, a great state to be in. And so a lot of times it really is going to be about, how do I take my purpose to help me think about the bigger picture? Why am I going through this? Why am I doing this? And without that, you can easily get past all of the bumps in the road because well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So let's just figure out, maybe this way didn't work, so let me go and figure out this way. Number 5 is that success is elusive, right? So success is always elusive when you don't have a purpose, because you're heading out, okay? Let's say you're heading out on a road to Florida. I don't know why you'd be going to Florida. No, but you're heading out on a road to Florida. You get on the wrong road. And then you have this narrow road that is too dark to even see around, but you keep going. And then our car breaks down. And then you push the car and you can go far, 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 but you'll never ever reach Florida, right? So without knowing kind of where it is that you're going and how you're going to get there, you'll never feel successful. You'll never feel like, oh, I achieved this, right? Or I now streamlined. I now have the systems in place that I wanted to have in order to build towards this thing. Right. And so a lot of the apathy that we feel, or emotional exhaustion, is because what does success look like for us? What is the vision that I wanted to create for my life? A lot of us haven't done that work. And so Pivot to Your Purpose, that workshop, is a really great opportunity to be able to do that. The 6th thing is that actually, I'm going to be very clear. Purpose equals to life. Okay. So what I mean by that is that there are studies that show a 17% decrease in mortality for those that know their purpose versus those that don't know their purpose. So this is not just the, oh, it'd be nice if I knew what my purpose was and maybe I should attend the workshop, but this is about affecting our physical health. This is about the stress that we feel when we aren't connected to it. And studies, show not only long life, but also able to tolerate, more difficulty and a lesser risk of things like heart disease. I think Alzheimer's disease as well is less when you have your purpose clear. So it's also psychological, right? You are really in a space where there isn't as much stress because you know where you're going. And then the last thing is that number 7 is that nothing in life you can sit in the presence and enjoy because you're always worried. Is this, is this going to be good enough? What am I supposed to be a part of? And we tend to be really lonely when we don't have our purpose together. We tend to, even when we're in social spaces, we tend not to connect as much, and we tend not to enjoy as much our present environment. And so really this is around just being very clear about what my purpose is. And so I want to give you this idea that understanding what my purpose is and being able to be focused on that and being able to know what that is a core thing that we all should feel. And it's not a bad thing if you haven't gotten there, but it means that probably your life is so chaotic, so crazy, so many things, especially for all of us as busy Black women, that we haven't had the time to do that reflection. And so I offer you this chance on February 15th to the 19th to do that reflection. It's literally 5 days. And it literally, for those who have done it, has just been a spectacular bonding experience, as well as a learning experience. And you have your workbook, and we meet every evening at 8 p.m. and we just have fun and we just learn together and share in the comments, and it's a beautiful space. So I'm hoping that many of you will join us on Friday. I will talk about the actual curriculum and what we do each day, why it's so important. So hope this was helpful. Hope all of you are like, if I don't know my purpose, register immediately, right? And those of you who do know your purpose, I hope this recenters you for helping you make sure that you are really in a space where you're actually making decisions that are purpose-led. So take care, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Bye. And don't forget to register.